You're now tuned into the Real Rap Radio Show. I'm your host, Walil Archer on Downtown Radio. I'm with Tameshia Hicks. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome. Excited to have you as a hairstylist on my show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. Talk to me about your business. Let everyone know the name of your business.
It is Uptown Diva Hair Restoration Clinic and Salon Studio out of Jacksonville, Florida.
And how did you come up with those names?
Well, being from Uptown, being from the Bronx, um, how I came up with the name was I was trying to decide on what was going to be the iconic name for the business. And I tried to use my name and some other things. But my daughter said to me, Mommy, why don't you use like Uptown? You're from Uptown, you're from the Bronx. So I said, yeah, that sounds pretty good. And she said, and you're a diva, so why don't you do Uptown Diva? And I said, that sounds like a good name for a hair salon. And I went with it, and it just really resonated in my spirit that this was the place that I would have for my business so that women could come to my salon and feel like the diva that they were.
Growing up in the Bronx, how has the hip hop music and influenced your styling of doing hair salon?
Well, I would say growing up in New York City, period, uh, hip hop had a big influence. I'm gonna say hip hop turned 50, and so did I. So hip hop was created when I was born. So over the years of growing up in the Bronx, I was able to see people like Salt and Pepper, Dougie Fresh, Big Daddy Kane, Mary J, MC Light, LL Cool J. So all of these people were um, like iconic to me. I saw their fashions. I had family that lived in Harlem, so we would go to 125th Street where Dapper Dan had his, store, and where Mark 125 was. So being in that type of environment influenced me to kind of look at fashion, hairstyles, and then as I got older, came up with the salon because of circumstances, but I came up with the salon and was able to, I'm sorry, someone's calling me. Sorry, but I was able to look at the artists and how they styled their hair, how they wore their fashion, and then incorporate that into my business.
Okay. Hip hop has had a significant impact on fashion and hairstyle. What are some of the iconic hip hop hairstyles that inspire you as a hairstylist in your journey?
Well, back in the day, I braided my hair all through middle school and high school. So I wore braids. So I saw Janet Jackson in, the movies wearing the dookie braids or the asymmetrical bobs with salt and pepper. And then I saw on Coming to America that they had the curly hair. So I wanted my hair to be curly like that. But that was kind of the starting point of when I became really passionate about hairstyles. I remember going to the salon and sitting waiting to get my hair done and really watching what the stylists were doing, and then going home and trying to mimic it, or going in the store and standing in line to check out and wanting to see what the new hairstyle was in Hype Hair magazine, or you know in the magazines, looking at the different hairstyles and then trying to go home and mimic those hairstyles.
Okay. As a hair salon owner, what are some of the favorite hairstyles from the hip hop scenes over the years? Any particular artist stands out to you?
um I won't say any particular artist. I think all artists. I was looking at everyone's hair. I mean, I was looking at, like I said, salt and pepper with the asymmetrical bob. I wanted that style. The different type of braiding styles that, like Brandy wore or Janet Jackson wore, the ponytails that MC Light wore or Mary J wore. I was looking at all of those hairstyles, and those things stood out to me that I wanted to try to recreate my own style, per se, and but have those type of styles that I was wearing or that I was trying on my friends and family before I became a professional.
Understood.
Mhm.
What were some of the biggest challenges you faced when starting your business, being from the Bronx, and how did the community and hip hop culture help you overcome them?
Well, I will say one of my biggest challenges was when I moved from New York to Florida, to Jacksonville. I was in an unfamiliar space. I didn't know really the culture in Jacksonville. I only knew New York. I only knew the Bronx. I only knew Harlem. So I had to get a feel of what type of fashion and hairstyles and things they were doing here, but I also wanted to make sure that I stayed to my roots, that I stayed to the person who I was. And even though I lived in Florida for a long period of time, I was born and raised in New York. I will always be a New Yorker. So I, the challenge was trying to fit in what I knew from New York, the styles that I knew, because some of the styles that I was used to, they hadn't started doing those in Jacksonville. So people were like, what kind of style is this? This was something that we were doing 10 years ago. And now you guys are just starting to come up on that. So that was a challenge for me. But as I got to know more people and kind of put my own flair, kind of take a little bit of what was going on in Florida and then what I knew from New York and putting those two together, that's what helped me to be able to start the business and also give them something a little bit different than what they were getting here in Jacksonville.
Cool. Do you find that your clientele come in wanting hairstyles inspired from hip hop artists?
Um, Most of my clients are business professionals, but I do have some that are like military and they're about to get out of the military. So they will come in and bring me pictures of, say, a braiding style, maybe something from back in the day that maybe Queen Latifah wore or something, and they're asking for this particular style, or they're going back to the roots. I'm finding that now more and more people are starting to get hairstyles that are representing who we are as African Americans. So they want the tribal braids, or they want the updo styles or the braided up styles. So I do find that some of my clients will come in asking for some of those things that have been represented in hip hop.
Okay. Hip hop has always been self-expression and empowerment. How do you see hairstyles as form of empowerment for the women in your community?
Well, that's a good question. Um, our hair is our crown and glory, point blank. And we have been able to make statements off of the hairstyles that we've done. So if we want to get a point across, whether it's political, whether it's for the community, whether it's for women's rights, we can style our hair to make a statement. And I find that as women, that's what we do. We style our hair to make a statement, whether it is a statement of, you know, I'm the diva, see me, or whether it's a statement to say that this is my body, this is my hair, I'm going to wear it the way I want to. You're not going to tell me how I could wear my hair, because I know we went through a period where women or people were not able to wear their hair a certain way on jobs. And the community came together and said, you're not going to tell me how I could wear my hair, because this is my hair. This is who I am. So I think the influence with hip hop and in relation to hairstyles is that we are able to make a statement with our hair. We can do so many different things with our hair. We can braid it, we could color it, we could relax it, we could straighten it, we could lock it, we could cut it short. You know, we could do so many things that empower us to show who we are as people and as a woman or as a man. We can do so many things with our hair.
Okay. What advice would you give to young hairstylists, particularly those influenced by hip hop, and inspire them to start their own salon?
So I would say, looking back, when I started my salon, I started out of, um, I'll say, necessity. I was working in corporate America and I lost my job. And I've always had a passion to do hair. I've always had a passion to, kind of change it up a little bit. Anyone that knows me, 1 minute my hair is one way, the next minute it's a different way. It's just all in how I feel. But I started my salon because I wanted to be able, like we talked about before, to empower myself to be able to work and not have someone tell me when I can work and when I can't work. But I also wanted to be able to touch women to let them know that, hey, we're beautiful inside and out. And we can show how beautiful we are by, presenting ourselves in a way with our hair, but also being able to take care of ourselves. So for a young person that wants to start a salon, I'll say stay true to your craft, stay true to your passion. If this is a passion for you, not just a moneymaker, because I don't do this for the money. I do this because this is what I love to do. I love impacting women. I love changing their outlook on how they feel about themselves. I love being able to show them that, you can regain your health by paying attention to your hair, because your hair is going to tell you what your body is doing. But I would say to a young entrepreneur, someone that wants to open their salon, stay true to yourself, stay true to who you are, and don't go with just the fad, because sometimes as we see in hip hop, style changes, but you stay true to what it is that you know that you want to do in life, and how you want to impact your community and the people around you. And then just stay the course. Stay the course. It's going to get tough. It's going to be rough, but just stay the course. Keep going, and you will see the fruit of your patience and your passion. You'll see the success to come.
Okay. Looking ahead, what are the plans for your salon, and how do you see the intersection of hip hop and the hair industry evolving in the next few years?
Well, I started out with the salon. That was my beginning um business. But as I was going through and standing behind the chair, I noticed that more and more women needed additional help, that they were losing their hair. And I then decided that I needed to do something more. And God led me into opening the clinic, the holistic hair health clinic, so that I could be able to help women on the inside to heal their bodies on the inside, so that we can heal it on the outside as well. So how I see my business is being able to touch more women, to letting them know that there is a correlation between what is happening on the top of your head with what is happening within your body, and how hip hop in the hair industry has a correlation to that is that sometimes we want to show how good we look on the outside. We want to dress up, we want to fix our hair, we want to put on the latest fashion, but we also have to work on our bodies on the inside, because no matter how we dress it up on the outside, we're not going to be able to keep that going for a long period of time, because what's happening on the inside of our bodies is eventually going to show on the outside. So I see my business in the future educating women on what is happening on the inside of your body so that it can reflect and show on the outside of the body. And just, educating them, letting women know that we are powerful, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So we got to show our inner diva.
Now, when you're talking holistic, what are the common things that you find yourself having to educate over and over again?
uh, in what we eat, what we put in our mouths, because right now in the country that we live in, we eat a lot of bad food. We eat a lot of salt, sugar, all of those things, and those play a big part in our health, what we're eating. We're not drinking enough water. We're not getting enough sunlight. We're not getting outside. We need to be able to get outside because the sun produces vitamin D in us. So if we're not getting enough vitamin D, our body is not able to produce the right amount of hormones so that our body can function. So I find myself, educating my clients and women that I know that you got to eat healthy. Yes, I know. I love a good cheeseburger. I love a good pizza. I can't find any in Jacksonville, but when I come home, I get me a good pizza. But I try to educate women that you gotta start eating healthy and exercising and moving, because the body is going to respond to whatever you're putting in it. And if you're putting in junk, you're going to get out junk.
What is the most popular hairstyle that people request?
Well, that changes. So I'll say, like last year, everyone was wearing, or the years during the pandemic, everyone was wearing wigs. They were wearing the lace wigs. And now I'm starting to see a trend of women are going back to more natural styles. They're kind of getting away from the relaxers now. They are doing more natural styles, wanting more braids. They're still doing weaves, but now they're going back to sew-ins, whereas before they were doing more of the lace wigs. So it's ever changing, but it's only changing in how we're doing the things. I find that the styles are just keep repeating themselves. We're just putting new spins on the style. We're still doing the bobs, we're still doing the braids, but we're doing, the boho braids. It's still the individual braids. We just dressing it up a little bit. Or we're still doing the bobs, we're just adding color to it. So I still think that the same styles are regenerating over and over again. We're just putting a new spin on
And baby hairs. Have baby hairs always been so popular?
No, and I'm sorry, I don't like baby hairs. I don't like baby hairs. I think baby hairs are for babies. I'm sorry. But I mean, baby hairs are good in their context. Baby hairs are really supposed to be baby hairs, little fine hairs, not not a whole lot of hair. So baby hairs was not as popular, I'll say, in the 80s when I was growing up as a teenager, maybe 12, 13, 14. They were doing baby hairs back then. I remember the slick back ponytail with the baby hairs. So, like I said, it's revolving again. So they're doing the wigs and they're doing the baby hairs again. But I think baby hairs are people are starting to get away from the baby hairs now.
How did that become so popular or a part of the trend?
I don't know. I believe someone saw an artist do it in one of the hairstyles and they ran with it. So I don't even know how it became so popular, but that's not something that I do. I do lace wigs in my salon, but I don't do the baby hairs. I tell my clients I don't do the baby hairs. You could do them when you get home, but I don't do them.
And speaking of wigs, do you use glue? You know how they use the glue down in the front of the head?
So I have several techniques that I use. I do use glue. Sometimes it depends on the client. I do have some clients because I do a holistic health clinic. I do have clients that have total alopecia, so they don't have any hair. So we have to use glue because that's the only way that the wig is going to stay down. But I do have some clients that have hair. They want to be able to wear the lace wig, so we don't use the glue because we want to preserve the hair. So I may sew it down rather than put the glue on.
And speaking of preserving hair, what is some tips you could give the listeners to preserve their hair a lot better?
Um, One thing is getting a routine. Getting a routine. Um, I'm a little biased. I feel that you should have a professional treating your hair. Now, as to how often you go to see that professional, that will be based on you. But I still believe that you should have someone that has a formal education on how to care for hair to give you guidance on what to do with your hair. Because sometimes we put our hands in our hair and we're doing all these different things that we see on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and we're messing up our hair. We're jacking it up. But if you have someone that can see what you can't see, because you can't see behind your head, someone else who's standing behind you can, but you can't see what's happening in the top of your head unless you take a picture and you look at the picture. But someone else who is your stylist can see what's going on. They can let you know that you have a bald spot and it's growing, and then give you the education on what it is that you need to do to reverse the effects of that hair coming out. So I would say making sure that you get with someone that's educated on hair, someone that is going to let you know what is happening with your hair, not just do your hair, but give you the honest truth about what you need to do to care for your hair. And then keeping consistent in what you're doing. If you want to do a change up, I'm not saying you can't, if you have a relaxer, you can't do braids. You can, but there's a way to do it. And knowing how to do that is by going to a professional that you trust and you know that is going to tell you the truth about your hair. So that
Good.
would be the tip that I would give.
Great advice. And as we close out, any final thoughts or closing remarks?
Well, I want to say thank you for having me on your show. Like I said, I'm all things New York. I love New York. I miss it a little bit, but I like Jacksonville too. So but I would say to the listeners, just stay true to yourself. Stay true to who you are. And whatever your fashion is, whatever your style is, stay true to that, no matter where you are. Whether you're in New York, whether you're in California, you're in Miami, it doesn't matter. Stay true to who you are. Um, and keep that passion. Don't be afraid to try new things. Try new hairstyles, try new fashion, and then also staying consistent, finding someone that can help you on your journey, whether it is for the look that you want with your hair, or even opening your business. Find someone that is going to assist you in that journey, and not just, don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the people to tell you that you can't do it. If it's in your heart and you have a passion for it, do it anyway. Whether you're scared or you don't know what to do, just keep seeking until you find the answer for what it is that you want to do. And then I'll close out by saying, follow me, Uptown Diva Salon Studio, on Facebook, Instagram, at Uptown Diva Salon Studio, and you can go to my website, uptowndivasalon.com.
Awesome. I was going to ask you next, how can they follow you?
Yes, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. We're working on the YouTube, getting that up and going. And I haven't figured out Twitter yet, but again, I'm 50 like hip hop, so I'm still learning. I'm still learning some of these things. I have to ask my kids how to help me. But you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to thank you for doing the interview today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. So that's my time today on the Real Rap Radio Show. And I'll see you guys next time on the Real Rap Radio Show with Walil Archer on Downtown Hot Radio. Thanks, everyone.